Okay, welcome. This is our lesson on 2.02, one-step equations. So just so you know, today is not a required Class Connect. You just have to watch this video and then that'll be it. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm not recording this lesson. Well, I actually am, but you know, it's going on. There's nobody in this room besides me, so it's okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about solving one-step equations using addition and subtraction. So when solving an equation, we try to isolate the variable. So isolate means get by itself. So for example, the solution to the equation 2x minus 5 equals 15 is x equals 10. You can check that this is the solution by substituting 10 back into the equation for x. Let's go ahead and do that. So 2 times 10 minus 5. Well, 2 times 10 is 20, minus 5 equals 15. Oh, equals 15, which is what we started with up here. So 15 equals 15. So that's perfect. Some equations, like the one above, may be easy to solve by guess and check. But as equations get more and more complex, it will be necessary to use algebra to solve for the unknown. In order to solve an equation involving addition and subtraction algebraically, you will use the following properties. So basically what this is saying, the addition property of equality means if I add something to one side of the equal sign, I have to do it to the other side. Okay? Same thing with subtraction. If I subtract something from one side of the equation, I have to subtract it from the other. And then substitution. If A equals B, if something equals something else, so if x equals 5, then A may be replaced with B in any expression or equation, which is what we did up here. Since x equals 10, we can take 10 and substitute it in for x. So let's do some example problems. So, make this white so we can see it. So x minus 5 equals 10. So what you want to do is the opposite of whatever is happening right here. Okay, so whatever is happening right there, we're going to do the opposite of that. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. Okay, so we're going to add 5. Oops. We're going to make this white so we can see it. If it will let me. Okay, we'll do light blue. Plus 5. You know what, we're just going to delete this whole thing because it's not working. We're just going to use this instead. So we're going to add 5 plus 5. There we go, that's better. Plus 5. And the reason we did that is we want to get rid of that minus 5 right there. So now on the left side I have x equals 15. Now I have x by itself. So let's look at number 2. This I have negative 6 plus x equals 12. So I want you to look at what's in front of the 6. That 6 is negative, so that means I need to add it. Whatever operation is in front of that number, you need to do the opposite of that. Okay? So even though it says negative 6 plus x, we take what's in front of the number, cancel those out, we get x equals 18. Okay, so for number 3, x plus 3 equals 19. We're going to subtract 3 because that's the opposite of adding 3. X equals 16. All right. Now let's look at this one. So in order to solve the following problem, what should you do? Well, I have a negative 10 here. So we want to think, what's the opposite of minus 10? So the opposite of minus 10 is not subtract 10, so we're going to cross that out. So it's not that. Add 10 to both sides. This is what we want to do because we're subtracting 10 in the problem, so adding 10 is the correct answer. We want to add 10 to both sides of the equation. Okay, so in summary, for addition and subtraction, to solve an equation involving addition, you will use subtraction, whatever the opposite is. To solve an equation involving subtraction, you will use addition, which is the opposite. So now let's look at multiplication and division. Okay, so this is sort of like addition and subtraction. If I multiply one side of the equation by a number, I have to do it to the other. Same thing with division. If I divide one side of the equation by a number, I have to do it to the other. Okay. You will also use the fact that any non-zero number divided by itself is 1. So basically any number besides 0, if I divide it by itself, is 1. Okay, so 2 times x, it's 2x, which is the same thing as 2 times x, so I'm going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. X equals 5. And 2 over 2 is 1, that's why I crossed them out. So x divided by 3 equals 6. So that means I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. And since I have one on top and one on bottom, they cancel out. X equals 18. Okay? And then the very last one, negative 4 times x equals 48. Divide by negative 4. Those two cancel out. Divide by negative 4. Now 48 divided by negative 4, I know 48 divided by 4 is 12, but since it's a positive divided by negative, our answer is negative 12. Okay, so sometimes there's going to be fractions. You need to deal with fractions. And the fractions we deal with, the way we take care of them is we multiply by the reciprocal. So what is the reciprocal of 3 over 4? Well, the reciprocal is just that fraction flipped over, 4 over 3. Now, what is 3 over 4 times 4 over 3? Well, let's go ahead and look. 3 times 4 is 12 on top. 4 times 3 is 12 on the bottom. 12 divided by 12 is 1. So whenever you multiply a fraction by its reciprocal, you're going to get 1. And that's what we do here. So solve for x if 3 over 4x equals 18. So we're going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of 3 over 4. And we know that when I multiply a fraction by the reciprocal, it equals 1, so I can cross those out. And now the way you can do this, you can do that. I like doing it this way. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay. Now the other method to solve this one, so we just did this one. We did method 2 up here. Okay. The other method is to divide by 3 over 4, and that's a little bit more complicated, so I'm just going to stick to the reciprocal method. So your next steps are to go through all parts of the lesson 2.02 today. Take the quiz when you feel ready. If you need help, come to the help session tomorrow at 10 a.m. or today at 1:30 p.m. Okay, that's what's happening today. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today, so have a great day.